Canelo, you a bitch. I'm putting it out there.
So what I do, YouTube? It's your boy KD in this thing, and I'm back at y'all again with another video. Alright, so before we get going on the video, man, y'all know what to do. Go ahead, hit the like button, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe one time for your boy, so we can continue to grow like we need to grow on this channel, man. Y'all know what time it is, bro. So yeah, bro, y'all see what the title of the video is? Is Snac gonna be the #1 excuse if Terence Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez? That's what I want to know, right? And the reason I'm asking this question is because I've been seeing some videos pop up talking about Terence Crawford and Snac, insinuating that he's getting some extra assistance, if you know what I mean, from the Snac program, right? And when I think about this situation, this isn't really anything new, right? Terence Crawford has kind of been getting these kinds of accusations, right? Projections for a while now, right? And I just find it hilarious. Because here you have this guy in a Terence Bud Crawford who's never tested positive for anything at all, right? Anything. Lives the life of a boxer. Doesn't smoke, doesn't drink. Goes home, hangs out with his family, you know. Goes to his kids' events, you know. When he training, he at home. When he not training, he at home. When he not at home, he training. You know what I mean? Pretty much straight up and down, right? When on the other hand, you have another guy in Canelo Alvarez, right? Who's actually tested positive for PEDs, performance enhancers, and all this shit, right? And not only Canelo Alvarez, right? But damn near his entire team, right? His entire stable of fighters under his trainer, Eddie Reynoso, right? Damn near all these motherfuckers at one point or another have tested positive for PEDs and performance enhancers, right? Oscar Valdez, Canelo Alvarez. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on, right? So, I just find this whole thing just hilarious, right? You got a guy who's always been clean, never tested positive, getting all these accusations. And on the other hand, you got the guy who has tested positive, right? Along with everybody, damn near everybody in his stable, who, for whatever reason, is not getting any of these accusations for performance enhancers. Does this make sense to any of y'all? Because it don't make no damn sense to me, right? I think that if you're anti-PED, right, you're an advocate of clean boxing, right? You just want a fair fade, right? You just want a fair fade. I would think that if that is your MO, right, that you'll be watching Canelo Alvarez like a hawk. Like, you would be all on his ass. You'd be watching his training camp. You would want to make sure that he's turning in his samples on time. You would want to check with VADA. You'd be calling VADA and your side and calling all these drug companies. Make sure they're getting all the information on Canelo Alvarez, because he's the abuser, right? he's the one with the history of PED abuse, right? Not Terence Crawford. So why is Terence Crawford getting all this attention about PEDs, when the reality of the situation is the person who should be getting this attention should be Canelo Alvarez and his trainer and his entire stable for the most part, right? But we know you dudes don't really care nothing about no Snac or no PEDs and nothing like that. We know you dudes don't really care about that. We know you dudes don't get no fucks about none of that, right? But what you do care about is having a viable excuse if your guy, Canelo Alvarez, somehow loses to a guy that's 3 weight divisions smaller, right? See, let me tell y'all a story, right? Pull up a chair. Let me tell y'all a story. Once upon a time, there was this duck by the name of Earl Spence Jr., right? He did his best to run away from a Terence Bud Crawford fight, but eventually was cornered into making the fight happen, right? Once the fight was made, there were a whole bunch of fake news and propaganda that came out in regards to things that could potentially affect the outcome of the fight. Now, real boxing fans knew that Terence Bud Crawford was a much better fighter than this duck, Earl Spence Jr., right? But his fans were convinced that he was the better fighter. And the way that they understood it is the only way that Earl Spence could lose to Terence Crawford was that there had to be something wrong, right? Whether it be the Snac program, right? And, you know, they had the same excuses that sounds like y'all talking about. Whether it was a Snac program, whether it was the busted gloves, whether it was, what else? The car accident that Earl got into and it affected his brain, whether it was whatever, right? They all these different excuses, right? Oh, sorry, different things that they came up with, right? And after Earl Spence got slapped around, right, we heard these topics that came up resurface, right, in the form of quote unquote justifiable reasons why Earl Spence lost to Terence Crawford, right? And even now, there are still Earl Spence fans who justify Earl getting slapped around by one of these reasons, whether it be the Snac program or the busted gloves or Earl wasn't the same or whatever the case is, right? In any case, I say all that to say this, right? The moral of the story is this, y'all, right? What this sounds like is a horrible excuse, but not even just an excuse, but a projection at the end of the damn day, right? A projection. We know that Canelo Alvarez is a known drug cheat. But what his fans are attempting to do is project their opinion of their guy, Canelo Alvarez, on Terence Crawford, right? And we just gonna call that out right here and right now at the end of the goddamn day. Because it's like this. If Terence Bud Crawford gets in the ring and beats Canelo Alvarez, he deserves all the credit and more, right? All the credit and more. Because no matter how a Canelo Alvarez fanboy or anyone wants to slice this fight is set up for Canelo Alvarez to win, right? He has all the advantages going into this fight, right? He has a supreme weight advantage, right? He's fighting at a weight that he's comfortable at, that he's been campaigning at for the last 5 years, right? The dude is literally cried for a smaller ring, right? So that way Bud wouldn't be able to use his legs as much as he would potentially use his legs in a fight, right? Right? Terence Crawford is literally about to be 38 years old, right? While Canelo is in his early 30s, if I recall correctly. This dude literally got every advantage that you could potentially think of, right? including the fact that Canelo may allegedly himself be using performance enhancers. Why do I say that? Because the man got a history of using performance enhancers. The man's entire stable has a history of using performance enhancers, right? So this man got all the legal advantages coupled with some potential illegal advantages, right? But still is trying to find a way to play victim in a fight with somebody that you have all the advantages in with, right? I mean, this shit is crazy to me. Like, what the hell? I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone when I be looking at some of the shit that be going on out here on these boxing streets, right? And I know no matter what I say, if Canelo loses to a Terence Bud Crawford, we gonna see all these excuses, right? I already know the excuses are gonna come, right? If Canelo loses to a guy 3 weight divisions smaller, oh yeah, the excuses are gonna rain down like a hailstorm. Oh yeah, all day, every day, right? So I'm not so much concerned about whether or not there will be excuses. All I want to know is, what will the number 1 pound for pound excuse be if Canelo loses to a guy 3 weight divisions smaller in a Terence Bud Crawford? Well, let me know y'all thoughts, man. Hit it up in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. And everybody, and I do mean everybody, be sure to hit that goddamn like button on your way out. But until next time, bro, I'm gonna holler at all y'all, bro. Peace.
Oh, no. You a smart man, but not that smart. Bro, I'm